All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the College of Engineering Dean's Team presentation. I hope you all are having a great engineering open house so far, and we're just going to jump right into it. Here at Virginia Tech, we tried to do the five strong things what it takes to be an engineer: creativity, teamwork, study habits, interest in math and science, and a challenging high school background. We understand that not everybody comes from an environment where the challenging high school background is feasible with the IBs and APs. But as long as you're taking as high level courses as you can in your high school, it's really great, and that's what Virginia Tech wants to see. We love it when we see teamwork. Any design teams or clubs you can get involved in at school, that's really what we are looking for. Something that you're passionate about. Find what you're passionate about and make it your job, and then you never work a day in your life. And then the things like study habits and interest in math and science and creativity, we really try to develop here at Tech. It's good coming in with those things, and then while you're here, it will cultivate even more.
So this is a quantitative overview of the class of 2019. So GPA 4.0, 7 out of a 5.0, and then math and reading is a 689 for math, 649 for reading. We did get a question about SAT. It was made optional this past year. I'm not sure how they're proceeding in future years. Katie, do you know if it's going to stay optional?
I do believe it'll stay optional, I think, for the next 5 years due to just COVID conditions and people starting high school and COVID.
Okay, awesome. And then the other two data points I want to point out are our female percentage, which is 23.2%, and then underrepresented minorities, which is 26.4. Both of these figures have just been going up for the past 5 years and will continue to. The College of Engineering has done a lot of outreach to get more people represented in our college. So,
all right, our general engineering courses consist of four different things. The common entry point classes are your gen eds, your chemistry, your physics, your writing. We approve a lot of transfer credits here at Virginia Tech. Dual enrollment classes, if they're taken through a Virginia Community College, are guaranteed to transfer. And if you're wondering what classes will and will not transfer, there is a whole page at Virginia Tech dedicated to letting you know what classes will transfer and what they will transfer as. Something that's just started recently is Pathways for General Education. It's just to fulfill all of your continued gen eds, like your liberal science, your liberal arts, your creativity classes, your things like that aren't necessarily directly related to engineering, but some of these engineering classes will fulfill pathways. At the end of your freshman year, if you have a 4.0 GPA, you are guaranteed your first choice in your major. So if there are 3,000 kids in the intro to engineering classes and all of them get 3.0s and all of them want to go to mechanical engineering, the mechanical engineering department has to offer all 3,000 students a spot in their department. That sounds like a lot, but don't worry. It is very easy to get a 3.0. We've set you up for success here.
So talking a little bit about our Foundations of Engineering class. So this is a year-long class. It's broken into your first semester and your second semester. In your first semester, you basically look at different ways to solve problems, and you're assigned teams. So this is all teamwork based, and you're writing a lot of reports over the semester. And you look at computer programming using something called MATLAB. You also do like a lot of data collection and analysis and stuff. But basically looking at what professional teamwork skills do you need that are going to help you in your career. And then your second semester is the application of everything you learned in your first semester. And so the thing that makes the second semester cooler, in my opinion, is that you get to work on a design project the entire semester. I worked on the RC car. When you get to do course requests, you actually get to choose what project you want to be a part of. I know some other ones included like wind turbine and stuff. So there's a lot of opportunity available there. But again, you're working in teams on this semester-long design project. You're writing reports, and you're basically doing a lot of reflection on the design process and how you've applied that yourself.
All right, so our 2019 freshman engineering class, this is where everybody went. So you can see we range from 3,000 students in the whole department, and then it filters out by there. We actually had one of the largest classes of the aerospace department. Usually it stays pretty competitive, but again, that 3.0 guaranteed everybody their spot. Our mining department is one of our small departments, but it is growing. Personally, I think the mining department's great. You get to do a lot of cool things like blow up stuff. It's very small here, but a great opportunity. All right, some opportunities here at Virginia Tech in the engineering department.
Awesome. So these are the College of Engineering specific minors that are available. So you can see there's a huge range here, anything from computer science to naval engineering and biomedical engineering. So it's a really great way to learn more outside of your major and one thing I highly recommend is working with your advisors on anything academic related, and they can help you integrate those minors into your course curriculum. Undergraduate research is also really big at Tech. I think we spend $530 million a year on it. So there's a lot of opportunities available. And it's quite frankly as easy as sending an email to a professor asking to get involved. So a lot of great opportunities there. Study abroad. I know each engineering major has specific programs and specific universities they work with. I'm in industrial and systems engineering, and we have programs in Brazil and Germany. And again, you can work with your advisors, and it can be a semester-long study abroad, a couple weeks over the summer, and they can really adjust it to what you need. Professional societies are really, really important in engineering. It's a great way to network and meet other people in your major. Some examples are like the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers, they're a great thing to get involved with. And then lastly, engineering organizations. So this is like your design teams, anything like that. And if you haven't heard this number before, I think we have over like 1,000 clubs and activities at Tech, and a lot of them are engineering related. So there's a wide range of stuff you can get involved with.
All right, we have a question here saying, can you minor in economics as an engineering major? Yes. These are only the minors in engineering, but you can minor outside of engineering. I have friends doing minors in econ, theater arts, anything you can imagine. Tech probably has a minor for it. And is there a general engineering course you take freshman year to decide which engineering type you wish to major in? So during the freshman engineering courses, engineering 1215 and 1216, you are required to go to the different information sessions put on by each department and do like a little write-up on them. I think you're required to do 5. So that's the way people kind of explore. And then during the freshman engineering classes, they also take time to go in depth a little bit more on each department. And they'll actually invite department heads in and other professors in to come and talk about their majors. All right, internships and co-op experiences. The ones listed on the screen are just from Dean's team members. We've been all over the country. We've major companies, small companies, you name it, Virginia Tech has placed them there. Personally, I've gotten internships as a freshman all the way out in Seattle. So it is possible. Anything's possible here. Jessica, would you like to share anything about your internship experiences?
Yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about the career fairs in a second, but those are really, really important to getting these. I can almost promise you that if we had done a poll across the College of Engineering, every state would be highlighted and there would be a company list like 10 pages long. So, yeah.
All right, our career fairs, a big opportunity here at Virginia Tech. We have a ton of employers come every year. The biggest one is Expo in the fall. That one, I think we have like 250 companies come out, and this year was all online, but we still had a great turnout. Hopefully next year will be in person. Then also it'll tie in later, but through our engineering LLC here on campus, freshmen in that LLC get a expo preview. So they actually get a whole night dedicated to just talking to employers one-on-one. It's set up as a mini expo. They get to go into the Castle Coliseum, talk to employers one-on-one just as freshmen. So they bring their resumes, they talk to employers. It's a really great networking opportunity. And then a lot of them do decide to go to the giant expo and end up getting hired.
So Galileo and Hypatia, this is our living learning community that's based out of Hogue Hall on campus. So it's basically a community about connecting freshman engineering students together. And you have upperclassmen that also live with you that provide a lot of guidance and like academic support. But there's a lot of social events. You have service learning projects, professional development. I also believe there's like a seminar class that you have to take if you're part of the living learning community. And it's just a really great way to get accustomed to Virginia Tech and also get to know like your future engineering peers that you're going to know for the next 4 years. So it's a very constructive environment. And then the 2 pictures that you see on the side over there, those are actually from a makerspace that are located in the dorm that you always have access to. So kind of a cool perk of living in the engineering dorm, I guess.
Yeah. I was like, just to add on to that, I was a part of Hypatia for 2 years, first as a freshman mentee and then as a mentor, and it was probably the best 2 years of my life. If you don't want to be living in the dorm with other freshman engineers, we also offer outside of the dorm peer mentoring and STEP. So I'm going to address peer mentoring first. Peer mentoring is for any student in the College of Engineering who wants a mentor. They sign up to the seat office and they get a mentor. It's easy as that. You don't have to live in the dorm. If you still want to get that mentoring experience, they meet once a week. They still do social activities and things like that. It's just it's not live-in mentoring. So they can't go to the next door to their mentor and be like, hey, I'm having a struggle, like help me like right now. It's a little bit more distance, but you still get a mentor. And then STEP, the Summer Transition to Engineering Program is what STEP stands for. The summer before you get to your freshman year, you'll come to Virginia Tech for 6 weeks. You'll actually get to do all of the first year classes. So you'll get to sit in on chemistry and things like that. And you actually get to take the tests beforehand. And it doesn't count towards your GPA. It doesn't count towards anything. You just come, you spend 6 weeks, you develop friendships, you live in a dorm, you take college classes, and it really prepares you to what college will be like in the fall. So this way you already get a head start on what you're studying, you know where your strengths and your weaknesses lie, and overall, kids who start off in STEP end up with higher GPAs.
I had mentioned that we have a lot of clubs and activities on campus. These are some of our design teams. The hands-on, minds-on motto is really big at Tech, of basically just applying what you're learning in the classroom to actual projects and being able to see their value outside of the classroom. So you see some examples here. The car picture that you see there, that's our hybrid electrical vehicle team. There's also Formula SAE. There's a lot of options available. And a lot of them are willing to take on freshmen. And if anything, this list just gets longer the longer that you're at Tech, because they start to open up as you become like a sophomore and junior. So yeah, a lot of great learning opportunities available there.
Virginia Tech is super proud to be ranked 13th best undergraduate program and 31st best graduate program. Personally, in our hearts, it's number one. By the ASCEE, we are the number 7 producer of engineers. That is very high for Virginia Tech. If you go anywhere, it's called Hokie Mafia. There's a Hokie everywhere you go. That is one really great part of having Virginia Tech behind you, is you know somebody. And we're a great producer of women engineers. I came here specifically looking for like more women in engineering, and so I found it, and it's been fantastic. We have a couple questions in the chat right now. I'm just gonna address them right now before we move on. Can you enter undecided and then transfer into engineering major? Yes, you can. I will tell you though, it is harder to transfer into engineering than it is to just be accepted outright into engineering. And it's also easier to transfer out of engineering than to transfer into engineering. Can you take an intro to engineering class if you're not an engineering major? No, you cannot take engineering 1215 or engineering 1216 if you are not an engineering major. What is considered for the 3.0 GPA? Do AP credits dual enrollment classes count? No. So the only classes that count towards your GPA here at Virginia Tech are the classes you take at Virginia Tech. So all of those freshman engineering classes, the chemistry, your physics, engineering 1215 and 1216, all of those classes count towards your GPA here at Tech. Do you automatically get put into Galileo and Hypatia Learning Community? No. So it is application based. So the applications usually open up in the spring, and it's a weekly acceptance. So every week we'll go through the applications, accept them, and then until spots are full. And there's 800 spots in the dorm, so we can take up to 400 men and 400 women in Galileo and Hypatia respectively. If you early decision, can you apply straight to the engineering program? Yes, I do believe so, that when like you're filling out your applications, you click, like you select which departments you want to apply for. I think they changed it now. Like if you apply for engineering, you can only apply for engineering. But if you apply for like the College of Science, you can have backup colleges to be accepted into as well.
So this is looking at your trajectory as a engineering student at Tech. So our retention rate is 90%. So what that means is that that's a percentage of freshman students who are continuing on to their second year of engineering, which is really, really high for an engineering school. And it gets even higher. I think it's like probably 99% if you're part of like SEED or Galileo and Hypatia and other support communities on campus. Those are really, really important, and that's why they're offered. After graduation, so 74% of students end up becoming employed and have full-time offers, and 13% plan to attend graduate school or have accepted admission to graduate school. And then the money question, our median starting salary is about $70K, and that's averaged across the majors.
Scholarships are big here. We know tuition is expensive, and so Virginia Tech really tries to help out as much as possible with scholarships. As a freshman, you can apply for the Davenport Leadership Scholarship. If I'm not mistaken, that is a full ride scholarship. The Pratt Engineering Scholarships are smaller, but they offer a lot of them. They range from like $5,000 to $1,500. And of course, financial aid here on campus is great. If you're a transfer student transferring from a community college here in Virginia, there's the PATIS scholarship that offers a lot of opportunities for low income or just people who want to do the 2-and-2 option. For upperclassmen, the College of Engineering as a whole gets a lot of money, but departmentally, there's even more money. So the higher you up in your department with better grades, the more money you're likely to get. Good thing, good news, it's all on one application. It's on Scholarship Central. Once you have an account with Virginia Tech, you can apply. So once you apply to Virginia Tech as a school, you can then apply to Scholarship Central. A couple quick questions here. When do you declare your major? You end up declaring your major at the end of your freshman year. That's pretty much across the board. That's when they're like hard set, fast deadline. But once you declare a major in engineering, you can always change it in engineering. Where do you go to apply to engineering scholarships? Is there a deadline? Yes. So engineering scholarships can be found at the Scholarship Central. That's what it's called. If you type in Virginia Tech Scholarship Central into Google, it'll pop up. The deadlines vary each semester. So the deadline for spring semester just passed March 1st. But for the fall, I think I want to say in like October for the fall.
I could be wrong, but I remember there being like a couple questions on the application when you're applying to tech that like mention the scholarships as well. So that's a good place to like make sure it's on your radar. And I think we got one more question of like, what's the max number of credits for freshmen to be considered full load? 12 is the minimum. And then I think the maximum number of credits you can take is 19, I believe.
Yes.
Computer requirements. So you can have a laptop or a 2-in-1 tablet. The computer requirements for the College of Engineering change yearly. And I believe they're published in the spring of the year that you're entering your freshman year. So it's most likely going to be a purchase you're going to make over the summer. They're really high power devices. There's a lot of requirements that they put in there, and it's for good reason. It's to run important software you need in your degree, but it's probably going to be a laptop that lasts you 4 years. So make sure it's something you're comfortable with, and you take into account the 2-in-1 tablet thing. I know a lot of people regret not purchasing that earlier. So just to have that on your radar.
The opportunities for out-of-state students regarding scholarships, I know that they have the same opportunities as in-state students. It's the same process, but through Scholarship Central, once you register, it'll tell you what scholarships you're applicable for, or like which ones you can, or like should suggest to apply for. I know there are some specifically for out-of-state students. I don't know exactly what they are. I'm not an out-of-state student. I haven't been able to apply for them, but I know there are opportunities out there. Majors, the question of the hour. All right, so there are 14 different majors in engineering here on campus. Some of them are small, some of them are large. Some of them you may have never heard of before, so we'll go over all of them. Electrical engineering involves a lot of communications and networking, robotics and autonomy, goes hand in hand with our computer engineering, at least on the robotics side. But through this, you can go through like power and systems. You can do space with, like, one of my friends is working for NASA as an electrical engineer. Anything you really want to do with electrical engineering, circuits, systems, it'll take you anywhere. So does tech provide students with laptops if needed? So if the laptop breaks, we have this thing called engineering SWAT, where you can go to the SWAT office in Torgerson and ask for a loaner laptop, but it's like a 2-week maximum until your laptop is repaired. So initially you have to start off with a laptop, but if something does happen to your laptop and it has to be repaired, SWAT is available on campus to help students meet the need afterwards. Okay, what happens if you do not have your GPA at a 3.0 to declare your choice of major by the end of freshman year? All right, so 3.0 guarantees your top choice. If you have like a 2.99, at that point you get to rank your choices. And once all of the 3.0 students have been filled to their respective spots, then the departments will look and be like, all right, after everybody who is definitely getting in, we have 5 additional spaces. And so then they go through the students that do not have 3.0 GPAs, and then they rank them accordingly. Like, all right, Timmy has a 2.95 and he wants to get mechanical. Well, mechanical's out of spots. So what is Timmy's second choice? All right, electrical engineering. All right, electrical has 1 spot. That's what he gets. So it may not be your first choice, but it is one of your choices.
All right, computer engineering. So this is basically looking at how to embed computers into other machines. So building networks, how to make computers smaller and faster and more capable overall. So the interesting part with computer engineering is that you can combine the hardware and software aspects, or you can specialize in them individually. And there's a lot of like, you can go into a lot of industries as well. So you can go into like financial services or financial tech, so like Wall Street, or you can go into like consulting or transportation. So there's a lot of cool applications there. And then the pictures that you see on the slide right now, those are all pictures of computer engineering research that's happening on campus right now.
All right, computer science. Computer science is technically its own college within the college. It is very broad. But again, very similar to electrical engineering, computer science is in very high demand, and there are a lot of jobs created just specifically for computer science majors. Anything you want to know with computer science, system software engineering, scientific computing, Microsoft and Google pull big out of our computer science department. The pictures, I know the bottom two are definitely from classes. One's from Expo, and I believe the top two are from research and a guest speaker that we had come and talk to our computer science department.
Okay, so mechanical engineering. So this is probably like the broadest engineering field for someone who still wants to be in technical fields. So the range of things that you can work on computer-aided design or CAD, controls, energy conversion, mechanical designs, mechatronics, so on. And you have the curriculum includes a very strong fundamental basis in like math and statics and thermofluid engineering, mechanical design, so on and so forth. And a lot of the classes that you're taking are like that curriculum is strengthened. You have like labs and also design courses that you take in conjunction with those. So again, it's what we were talking about before of like applying what you're learning in the classroom on actual projects. And then the pictures that you see, there's one from Lane Stadium, and that's a touchdown robot that mechanical engineers built. There's Baja SAE, Formula SAE, the hybrid electrical vehicles. So a lot of cool examples of mechanical engineering design teams.
All right, we'll take a pause and answer some more questions. Is there an engineering admissions advisor? Yes. I know it's changed over the past couple of years. I don't know their name specifically. However, through the admissions department, there is one specific for engineering. And those can all be found on the same page. If you do like VT admissions officers, they'll all be there. Do you have any issues with impacted majors where it's harder to get into classes you need for your major? No. So even if it's one of the largest classes that, say, mechanical engineering has ever had, they will make enough classes to fill the needs of every student. Yeah. You may not be able to take it in the semester you want, but you will be able to take it. They'll may have it split up between like fall and spring semester, but you'll definitely get the classes you need to graduate on time.
Yeah. One thing I just want to add is like, I know for a lot of majors and including industrial and systems, we have to take engineering classes from other disciplines. So in those instances, you might have to do like a force out or something and work with your advisor to get put in because you're not technically in that major, but the advisors do a really good job of advocating for you. So I wouldn't worry about not taking a class because there's no space.
All right, and a list of majors shown on this presentation. If you go to Virginia Tech Engineering, like the homepage, I guess, for the whole department, like for the whole college, each one will be listed out. And so it'll be like a tab for majors and a tab for minors. All of this information we found there, and they're all hyperlinked to their own individual department pages. Aerospace engineering. Aerospace engineering goes very closely with naval engineering, aerodynamics, flight dynamics. The only difference is that in naval you do water, propulsion structures. A lot of our aerospace goes to Lockheed and NASA, doing space and vehicle designs, or just designing airplanes. The next, massive military contract to do the stealth fighters. All right. So the very large engine is actually a Rolls-Royce engine, and it's hanging in the entryway of one of our engineering halls on campus, Goodwin Hall. It's very cool. You walk in and look up, and it's just a massive Rolls-Royce engine. This is actually the second engine that they've put in that into Goodwin. The first one got destroyed on an overpass when they were transporting it here. That's a fun fact. And then the next picture over here is actually at our drone cage. So we have one of the largest drone cages in Virginia. I think the largest in Virginia. This is if you do your 1216 design project with your drones, this is where you'll get to test them out. this is one of our design teams. I think it's Fly VT is the plane, and then again, design on campus, design team here on campus. I don't know exactly which one, but they're doing airfoils on this picture. All right. What is the 4-year graduation rate for engineering? I do believe the 4-year graduation rate for engineering is something around like 90 to 95%. It is very easy to graduate in 4 years. I took a co-op, so if you want to take a co-op or a study abroad semester, like you'll still graduate in 4 years. It'll be 4 academic years and not like 4 straight years, if that makes sense. Like I took co-op for a semester, so I'm graduating a semester later, but still taking all my classes in 4 years.
All right, ocean engineering. So, as Katie mentioned, the aerospace and ocean engineering department is together at Tech. But basically, you're dealing with designs of ships. You're taking similar classes to aerospace, so fluid mechanics, propulsion structures, etc. And you end with a sort of capstone design project in your senior year where you're designing a complete ship. And then the pictures that you see on here, we have the College of Engineering team built an autonomous sailboat regatta on the right. Human powered submarine team is on there, and general like ocean engineering research pictures. So,
how do you apply for the internship program at Tech? There isn't a specific program for internships. Tech brings the employers in, and then from there, students get to talk one-on-one with employers, and then the employer gets to decide if they're hired. It's not a requirement to have an internship before you graduate. But a lot of students do end up with internships. But there's no specific programs dedicated to internships.
Tech has like a internal version of like LinkedIn, I guess. It's called Handshake. Highly recommend using that. A lot of employers, when they come in for like Engineering Expo or Cameo, this career fairs we talked about before, they'll post the jobs on Handshake. So that's a useful tool for internship applications and also full-time.
All right, the question that just came in, I'm going to wait until we get to either ISE or civil because then it will apply.
So ISE, personally, I think this is the best major. We're currently ranked 4th in the country, so super strong academically. But as listed on here, there are 4 key skill areas in ISE. The coursework incorporates all of them, so you're doing a lot of probability and statistics foundations and like human factors introductions, data management, things like that. And then you can specialize in your junior and senior year with technical electives in whichever of the 4 key skill areas you want to work on. Personally, the reason I chose this major is because you're looking at the physical and like technical aspect of systems, but you're also looking at how organizations are structured, the economic part, the business part. There's actually a program that ISC has for a business minor with the Pamplin School of Business on campus. So it's a great major if you're looking for an intersection between engineering and business. So if you're looking at consulting, for example, this would be a great major to be looking at. Let me look at the question. For masters, I believe there's like there's an option to get a master's in like 1 year for ISC. I can only test to ISC, but you'll just take additional classes for your master's degree, and like some of your undergraduate degree classes can also count for that. So you can do a little bit of double dipping. Again, biggest resource on campus is talking to your academic advisors and just getting that declared. But yeah, I know the 1-year master's program is really popular at Tech, not just in ISC, but in other majors as well.
And then I'll touch on it more when we get to civil, because civil also has a 5-year program.
Awesome.
All right, chemical engineering. So you take your fundamentals, your thermodynamics, environmental, manufacturing. There's a giant polymer lab on campus. You would never know it until you like walk into it. It is so cool to see. Also, they have a very large. So the junior year of every chemical engineer, they have to take like this massive summer-long lab course. Students have the option of taking it either in Denmark, Germany, or here in Blacksburg. A lot of students decide to go abroad for that because why not? You get to take your classes and you get to live in a different country for a little bit. So overall, very cool. Now with chemical engineering, it's almost a part of the curriculum where you have to co-op. It's kind of like a unsaid rule, but that's really what employers want to see, is that a co-op experience with chemical engineering. Personally, my co-op was really great. I got to see hands-on what I would be doing every single day. So I can only imagine for chemical engineers getting to do what you love for an entire semester, I think it'd be fantastic. Do you have free tutoring help on campus if you're struggling in a class? All right, so there are several different kinds of tutoring on campus. So within each individual class, the professor is required to hold office hours, and often there will be TAs associated with that class that will also hold office hours. They will, if you go to them with a question, they will absolutely help you. Some other things, through our engineering LLC on campus, there's an entire committee dedicated to academic support. They offer study hours every single day. And then they get help from other students and the Gallup-Patient LLC, upperclassmen who've already taken those classes, etc. Julie or Jessica, do you know of any more?
Yeah, there's a student success center that's available on campus. I have a friend who's a tutor there. It's great. A lot of the introduction math and science classes are available through there. So mainly the classes that you're taking freshman year, they have great programs. I think it's probably tutoring like 2 to 3 hours a week that's available. So that's also really helpful. And then I know specifically for ISC, they send out a survey to all upperclassmen who are willing to tutor, and they basically pair you up with upperclassmen that are willing to be paid for tutoring and stuff. So there's free tutoring available, and then also departments can pair you up if you want to pay for tutoring and have an upperclassman student.
All right, and then do we have an honors program? Yes, we do have an honors program here on campus. It is located within West Ambler Johnston and East Ambler Johnston. It is a live-in honors college, so that's a little bit different. So you can be a part of engineering and a part of the honors college, but you can't live in Hogue Hall in the engineering LLC and be in the honors college. It is one or the other. We both have requirements that you must live in the dorm with the selected program. So some people choose honors college and some people choose the engineering LLC. It is up to your personal preference.
I think we have one question. Do you think a computer science major will make it impossible to have a minor in something else due to how much work it is? Absolutely not. You can definitely work it into your coursework. I know we mentioned the engineering minors, and those are easier than normal minors to integrate into your curriculum, but in general, it's relatively easy. I know someone who's double majoring in computer science and like math. So all it is having a good relationship with your advisor and just keeping them in the loop. So you can do sincerely anything you want to do in terms of majoring and minoring in addition to your engineering degree.
Yeah, one of my friends is doing a double major with electrical engineering and theater. They don't go together at all, but he's doing it, you know? All right, does being in an honors college generally help with internship and job searches? I'm not in the honors college, and I've never had a problem getting an internship or a co-op. I had an internship my freshman year. Coming out of my freshman year, I've had co-ops my sophomore years. I've never had a problem as a general engineering student getting an internship. So I don't know how the honors college. I know the honors college offers things like there's a professor that lives in the honors college to be accessible to the students 24/7. But overall, I don't know how they would help more with internship and job searches more than the college engineering already does.
Yeah, I think you're already in a really good position being an engineering student at Tech. So I don't like it's not like if you're not an engineering college, you're not going to get a job ever. I think they have I have a friend who's in it and they have like internal networking sessions, but it's nothing really. It's not going to put you at a disadvantage basically if you're not in it. Yeah. So
it's like we said earlier, Virginia Tech is the number 7 producer of engineers. So there are Hokie engineers everywhere. Plenty of them did not go to the honors college. Some of them did, but Hokie Mafia, Hokies hire Hokies is the saying.
Okay, I see a question about industrial engineering. Is it common to get an internship after your freshman year? I don't know. I personally did, but I'll be honest, my internship wasn't totally industrial and systems engineering related. I think it just depends on Expo because like the jobs and like the internships that recruiters are coming with change year to year and it varies what they're looking for. So I think it just depends on that. It's hard to give a concrete answer. But I mean, it's okay to not have an internship after your freshman year. That's, I would argue, the more common thing. I only had it because I did an externship with a company before. It's more common to get your first internship after your sophomore year. So if you don't get an internship after your freshman year, that's like Totally good. Okay, so this basically looks at the engineering applications of materials of all types. So you can specialize. So you have like foundational curriculum in most materials, but then you can specialize in like ceramics and metals, polymers, etc. And then you can also design a program of elective study. So you can incorporate like biomaterials or green engineering into your program of study. So you can have a little bit more specialization. You can go into any industry. I think that I feel like I've said that about every major, but you can go into like aerospace and chemical, material, communications. My favorite application of material science and engineering, I'm a big sports fan. So a lot of people will go to Nike and like Adidas and like choose what materials and stuff are good for like, like a football cleat versus like a soccer cleat and things like that. So a lot of cool applications there.
All right, civil engineering. I'm a junior in civil engineering currently. Absolutely love it. Our program's set up a little bit different than everybody else's. So since, as you can see, there's construction, environmental, geotech, land development, materials, structures, transportation, water resources. All of these are within the college or within the civil engineering department. So as an undergrad, you're required to take 5 out of, there's 8 of them, 5 out of the 8 of them in your coursework. And then in your senior year, you're allowed to specialize into 3 of them. Basically, all that means is you're taking higher level courses in 3 of them instead of all 8 of them. So personally for me, I'm doing construction, land development, and transportation. So it's a weird combination, but for me it works. And then I'm going to swing back to that master's program. So with structures, it's almost it is required to get a master's in structures. So we do offer a 5-year master program in structures. A lot of students decide to take it. It is one of the most popular tracks. How much of civil engineering is environmental? So there is an environmental aspect to every single part of it. We like to look at like as a whole environment. The environment's the most important, and as civil engineers, it's our responsibility to treat our environment respectfully and with the best intentions. Right now I'm in land development. All we do is talk about like, how is this going to impact waterways? How is this going to impact the utilities? Like, how much earth do we have to move to get to what we want? Things like that. It's just like a global thinking around how can we put environmental at the center so we can continue to build things. I'll talk about the pictures a little bit. So this picture down here in the bottom left is Flint versus Detroit. So back when the Flint, Michigan water crisis happened, Virginia Tech actually had a team that was able to go there and examine and study, and they're still there collecting water samples and examining and studying why this happened, how this happened, things like that. Right above it is our steel bridge design team. So it's a yearly competition with our design team. You get to go and you have like I think it's like 7 hours. You have to build an entire bridge from scratch in 7 hours, and they must meet all this design criteria and things like that. It's a super fun. Virginia Tech hosted it this past year. Super fun to go to, cool to watch, even if like you're not a big structures person. It's just seeing like how people think in the bridges they build. Super awesome. I'll go directly catty corner. That is our concrete canoe design team. I know people are like, you can't build a canoe out of concrete. That's the thing. You can. You take that material science, you make a specific batch of concrete that floats. You make a canoe out of it, and then you get to go to a lake and race other universities that also have concrete canoes. And then directly above is also part of the steel design bridge team. I think that's the bridge deck for it. So really cool. I can talk about civil all day, but I will let you guys ask me questions about civil. If none of you guys want civil, I won't keep talking about it.
All right, going into construction engineering and management. So this basically combines the technical management and business part of how to manage construction projects. So construction projects, operations, and processes. So making sure that everything stays safe, efficient, and cost effective, while also factoring in, is it environmentally safe and socially aware, things like that. So So you're working in 4 sectors of construction. So you're looking at residential, commercial, industrial, and heavy. And again, we talked about teamwork earlier, but that's also really, really important here because you're looking at project teams and how to, come up with like common objectives and things like that as you work on these super long-term projects. And applications of this, you can work as a general contractor, home builders, and an architecture firm, real estate development, so on and so forth. Oh, sorry. One thing to point out, people in construction engineering and management, there's 100% job placement rate. So that's sort of one of the cool parts about that major.
All right, mining engineering. Mining engineering is a dying breed, but they're still going strong. So actually my first internship was through the mining department. They also have 100% job placement after graduation. There are anything that is not grown is mined. When you think about it, you're like all the parts in your cell phone, if it's not grown, it's from a mine, those rare earth metals. So very they're going to stay around forever. But not a lot of people want to do those jobs, which I get it. Personally, I did asphalt testing for an entire internship, thought it was a blast, but civil was where I went with it. I know a lot of people who go into it, they end up doing like the consulting side of it, to like walk into mines and be like, yes, this is structurally sound. No, it's not structurally sound. Things like that. But big upside to this, you get to explode things. There's a whole blasting class, which I think is very, very cool. No other major is allowed to take it. You have to be a mining engineer to take the blasting class. But once you get to build it, and we have like design teams about mining, like they get to go and build a mine for a weekend and then talk about it. My roommate's a mining engineer. I hear things from her and she's like, all right, this is really cool. And I'm like, all right, cool. You're building things underground. Got it.
Right, biological systems engineering. So this is the intersection of biology, chemistry, and engineering. So you're looking at a lot of problems like environmental protection, renewable resources, and so applications of that can be in like food, pharmaceuticals, polymers, biofuels, and more. Your coursework includes a lot of fundamentals in biology and chemistry. So that's how it's sort of different from other engineering programs, is that there's a big focus on biology and chemistry, which there might not really be in the others. And some focuses of this is like biomolecular engineering, environmental health engineering, food engineering, things like that. So yeah. And then some of the pictures that you see on here, I think one of them is Engineers Without Borders, which basically they go to countries and build bridges to help connect communities. And then there's a Water Resources Association picture on there, the Virginia Tech Hokie Soil Judging Team. So a lot of cool applications of this major.
All right, biomedical engineering is our newest major. It is so new, it is not ABET accredited. It's only about 2 years old. So like I said with the other majors, 3.0 guarantees you getting in. However, with biomedical engineering, it is still an application process. They are only taking 40 applicants or 40 students a year. But it is still a minor. So if you wanted to do like material science with a biomed minor, totally possible. I know the big focus of the biomedical engineering major is a lot of research and master's programs and applications versus like going into say prosthetics as a doctor, kind of things like that. So very cool, very new. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm sure someone does and I can get you in contact with them. That concludes our presentation. If you guys have any questions, please drop it in the chat. We can answer them now. We can stay after a little bit and answer one-on-one if you'd like. If you want to learn a little bit more, scan this QR code. It'll take you to a hyperlink about, and it'll take you to the Virginia Tech engineering homepage that will take you to, I think, the majors and the minors and things like that. So thank you guys so much for coming out. I hope to see some of you guys soon here at Virginia Tech. All right, so we have a question here in the chat. If you applied with general engineering with biomedical engineering intent, are you guaranteed into biomedical engineering? No. So when you apply to the College of Engineering, that gets you into the college, like as an undergraduate college engineering student. once you're an undergraduate college engineering student, then you have a separate application to apply to the biomedical program. And that has like an essay, and then there's an interview process. It's a whole separate thing.
We have one about student life at Virginia Tech. I mean, I think we're both biased when we say it's like the best student life in the country. But it's great. I think sorry, go ahead.
I said, just last year we were voted #1 best food on campus. We are #1 in the country for that.
But I know personally when I was like looking at where to go to school and I saw, oh my God, there are 30,000 people on campus. It's sort of terrifying, but it's really, really easy to find your community on campus. And I don't just say that because, you know, that's like the cliche thing everyone says. It's genuinely really easy to find people on campus. I think tech just attracts some of the best people and smartest people. And I think a big thing is in your majors, you can find that community. In your extracurriculars, you can find that community. Sports are also really big at tech. So it's also really fun to be able to meet people at like basketball games and football games and things like that. But yeah, it's really welcoming. And I think it's very, very easy to feel like you're part of Hokie Nation pretty quickly. So at least that's my favorite part. If Katie has anything to add.
Oh, I could go about like student life here at Virginia Tech forever. But yeah, even if like you're not a big sports person, go to one football game. You feel the energy coming off the crowd. We've started earthquakes from how excited we are about Hokie football. Like that should tell you everything, that we can set off seismic activity jumping to enter Sandman in Lane Stadium.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a very very passionate group of students.
Yes. All right. How many students are accepted into engineering? So in 2019, we accepted about 3,000 students into engineering. I believe in 2020, it was like 5,000 students into engineering. So we are definitely like looking to grow and growing very rapidly as well. How do you get into other projects like concrete canoe and hybrid electrical vehicle team? Great question. So a lot of these design team projects will be talked about in the departmental information sessions that you're required to go to. And a lot of like these design teams will come into the engineering freshman class, talk about their design team, put an email up, then you just email them. The concrete canoe is through the ASCE, American Society of Civil Engineers. So we have a chapter on campus. You reach out to them, be like, hey, I want to be a part of Concrete Canoe. And they're like, great, here's the time to show up. Hybrid electrical vehicle team, same thing. They're located in the Ware Lab. You can either go there or they'll talk about it in the class and you can be like, hey, I want to join. And they'll be like, cool. Either there'll be a process to join or they'll be like, great, you're on the team. This is what you're doing now.
Another thing I want to point out, so there's something called Gobbler Fest, and praying for a normal semester. Basically what happens is in the first couple weeks, if you guys aren't familiar with the campus, we have the drill field, which is this massive field that splits Virginia Tech into the academic and residential side. So basically we have, you know, these 1,000+ clubs and activities on campus come on to the drill field and they all have their own booths. And so that's also a good way. You can go and you know, meet Concrete Canoe and, you know, hybrid electrical vehicle and like in person and sign up for email lists and go to their interest meetings and stuff. So that's also something to look out for in the first couple weeks of the fall semester.
All right, Keegan, you said if you get accepted into general engineering after freshman year, if you have an above a 3.0, do you secure your intended major? No. So if you're transferring into general engineering after your freshman year, you still have to take the freshman engineering design courses, like the 1216 and 1215. So you have to take those 2 classes before you can declare an engineering major. So even if you transfer from like say business to engineering, you still have to take those 2 classes before you can declare. So at that point you just be classified as an undergraduate engineering student.
Yeah. I think it's that and like the foundational math and science classes, right? I think like the physics and chemistry. So
yeah. So basically you have to take all of your freshman engineering classes before you can declare, even if you're transferring in. How are the freshman dorms at VT? All right, so I lived in Hogue Hall for 2 years. Um, I mean, it was a dorm. Like you, you get what you pay for. Like they're built in the 60s, but honestly, you're not there that often. Like you are always constantly out, either in the academic side, out on the drill field because it's a nice day, hanging out with your friends somewhere else. Like very rarely was I in my dorm. So to me, it was just a place to sleep. It had to like that's how I viewed it. I was like, it's a safe place to sleep at night, so I'm not too worried about it.
I think if you're looking for a nicer place, I've heard I lived in West Ambler Johnston, which is a residential college on campus, and I loved it. It was awesome. If you're looking for, I think RAs try to make a community in all of the dorms, but I think in West AJ, because it is a residential college, that naturally comes a little bit more. So they have a lot of social events. I'm very partial to it because we have a movie theater and a gym in West AJ, so it was really nice. There's also, we have a sixth floor like crossover with East AJ, which is the honors college, and there's like a kitchen and a game room and like a library and a couple conference rooms. So I would say look out for that one. That's where I lived and I loved it there. It was very nice.
All right, how many student clubs associations are in VT? Infinite.
Yeah.
um Again, Gobbler Fest, that is where the place to like it is the I don't know if you've ever seen the drill field. Look up a picture of the drill field. It is over an acre large, or like, an area, and it is filled to the gills with student clubs and organizations. So also, and if we don't have it yet, all you need is a professor and like 2 students, and you can start a club. Like, so easy to start a club here. That's all you need. And if you want to make it possible, you can make it, but chances are it's probably already here.
There's a website called, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, if you like drinking chocolate milk, there's a chocolate milk club. Like, we have random clubs.
Yeah, definitely. There's the website called Gobbler Connect, I believe. Highly recommend checking that out. If you you can put keywords in and it will populate like the clubs and organizations that line up with that. So if you're looking for more of a structured way to figure out what your interests are and how they're represented on campus, I would definitely look at that.
All right, what is the name of the residential halls for engineering? So the LLC for engineering is located in Hogue Hall, but if you just come in like not wanting to be in any LLC and just in a regular dorm, you can be in a regular dorm. And from there, then you choose your preference of dorm. All right, why did we choose VT over other colleges when accepting colleges? Jessica, I'll let you go first.
I feel bad saying this, but I was considering UVA until pretty late in the game my senior year.
Jessica.
I know. Oh, it's embarrassing. I promise. I think I was looking for a school that had a balance between an awesome on-campus culture and like sports and all of that and academic strength. And I think tech does that better than any other engineering school. You can debate me on that, but I think I'm right. And I think it's just, I don't know, like people are incredible. Every person I talked to that had gone to tech had nothing but good things to say about it. And to have a school that's, 30,000 plus people and every person's coming out with a positive experience, I think speaks to the testament of the institution and the people that are there. So I think it was just that. And then also looking at, the College of Engineering program ranked 13th in the country. That's like insane. And I'm also, I'm from Virginia, so being able to have like in-state tuition for engineering program of that like strength was also very appealing. So, yeah.
All right. So, I looked at a lot of colleges. My older siblings, I tagged along to all of their college tours, so I think I've easily toured like 60 colleges and universities.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot. But tech was the only one when I stepped on campus. People were happy, people were smiling, people were outside, people were willing to like if you looked visibly lost, people were willing to stop, like random students stop and like, hey, can I help you like find some, like you obviously are lost, like let me help you. And so like that just like community, like instantly hitting campus and being like, just the whole vibe is sunshine and rainbows. Like you just like feel happy when you're on campus. And I can't explain it. You just like step foot, you see the hooky stone and you're like happy.
That's very well put. Yeah, that's very, very true. I think like, oh my God. I mean, have met some of the best people I'll ever meet in my life at this school. And I think also like you'll have bad, like I've had bad, you fail tests, that's a thing that happens, right? And I'll
Yeah,
have like friends like, okay, time to get ice cream. And like, then you'll like have ice cream with a bunch of people who also failed the test. Like there's just a community there that like forms in like really weird moments. Like at football games, everyone's like, chanting like screw Duke, things like that. It's just fun. It's
yeah,
very fun and easy to get along with people. So
yeah. So overall, I would say the sense of community is why I chose Virginia Tech over any other school. If you have AP courses credited, can you take the next advanced course? Yes. Also, for 3.0 GPA, does it include only the required freshman courses for the year and not the advanced courses? So it is your cumulative GPA at the end of the year. So if you take like some pathway classes, so like your gen ed, like your liberal arts classes your freshman year, those will count towards your GPA as well. Since at that point you won't have like an in major GPA versus an out of major GPA, it's just one cumulative GPA. But you are required to take, chemistry, physics, things like that. So in that case, like everyone's GPA kind of evens out in the end.
okay.
For our freshman year, are we not taking any engineering classes and just doing the basic classes? So no, you will be taking two engineering design classes, engineering 1215 and engineering 1216. 1215 will be in the fall and 1216 will be in the spring. 1215 will be just like your basics, hitting the ground running, like learning how to work in teams. Is a lot of team projects, a lot of little projects to like build on skills that you'll need later. And then in 1216 is an entire design course. So you're in one group for the whole semester designing either like a wind turbine, a drone, RC car, I think those are the three.
I think so. Yeah.
And so from there, like then you'll like really get in depth on your team and the design process and things like that. So you will get like a good sense of engineering the first year.
Yeah. One thing I want to add is like some people know what major they want to be in. So I had a friend who like was committed to computer science. So she worked with a computer science advisor to force add some computer science classes in her sophomore year, freshman year. So if you are committed to something and like you have the prerequisites for those classes, there's a way to start taking like the more in major classes. But again, that conversation needs to happen between you and your advisor. But it can happen if you're committed to something.
All right. So if you're an out-of-state scholarship, what are some good scholarships to apply to? Like we said before, if you go to Scholarship Central, you fill out that one application, and it'll apply you to all of the ones you're applicable for. I did a lot of like, I know my school had like a whole box of scholarships. Like they would print off the scholarship paperwork and put it in a box, and then students can go in and just pull out the scholarship they want to apply for. So I would definitely check with like your guidance department in your school for scholarships like that. Hit up people for money left and right. That's what I like. Don't be ashamed. Do the residential halls for engineering cost any more than general dorms? They cost less. I know when I was on campus, I paid $3,000 a semester to live in Hogue Hall. And I know like living in like New Hall West or like the newer halls can cost you like $5,000. So definitely living there costs less. Plus, most of the times they give scholarships if you live in the engineering LLC. That's a small plug right there. How do you apply to engineering residential halls? All right, so once you're accepted to Virginia Tech, there will be, or like once you apply, you can go to StarRes, which is the portal we use to like for all of our housing. And within StarRes, there'll be like on the side, it'll be like learning living communities is like its own tab, and you click on that, and you can apply to the different learning communities. And one of them will be, it's called Galipatia on the form. It's a combination of Galileo and Hypatia.
Any way to get in touch with advisors? I believe that their contact information is on the tech website. So if you look at, so because you're general engineering your freshman year, you have general engineering advisors. And then when you go into your major, they change and you have your in major advisors. I do believe the general engineering advisors contact information and names and all that are on the tech website. If you search it up in Google or something, it should populate.
Um, do all freshmen get housing accommodation? Yes, all freshmen are required to live on campus, and currently we are building new dorms to accommodate all of our freshmen. So there will be housing for freshmen on campus. Is admission more competitive for out of state? Yes and no. So, as a Virginia university, a public university in Virginia who gets Virginia funding, I think they're required to have 45% of the slots go to in state students.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have 55% of the student population can come from out of state. And out of state includes international students and things like that. So it is a little bit more competitive in the fact that you are out of state, but not any more competitive than if you were in state. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy engineering open house.
All right, bye.
Bye. Bye.